Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about a habit that looks very small from the outside, but has the power to completely transform your life. That habit is waking up at 4 a.m. Now think about this for a moment. While most people are still sleeping, while the world is quiet, while distractions have not yet started, there are people who are already awake. They are reading, they are thinking, they are planning, they are building their future. Those early hours are not ordinary hours. They are the most powerful hours of the day. Because at 4 a.m., the world belongs to the people who are ready to take responsibility for their life. Most people wake up late and start their day in a hurry. They rush. They feel stressed. They react to problems. But the people who wake up at 4 a.m. do something different. They design their day before the world wakes up. They give time to their mind. They give time to their goals. They give time to their growth. And slowly, day by day, this small habit begins to change everything. Their discipline becomes stronger. Their focus becomes sharper. Their life becomes more organized. Because success does not happen suddenly. Success is built quietly, early in the morning, when no one is watching. And today, I want to show you why waking up at 4 a.m. can become one of the most life-changing habits you ever build. By the end of this video, you will not just understand this habit, you will feel the power of it. And as you listen to this video in simple and clear English, you will also improve your English listening skills. So stay with me until the end, because this habit can truly change your life. 1. The importance of 4 a.m. Many people think waking up at 4 a.m. is only about sleeping less, but that is not the real reason. The real reason is control. When you wake up at 4 a.m., you are doing something very powerful. You are telling your mind that you are the one in charge of your life. Most people allow their comfort to control them. The alarm rings. They press snooze. 5 minutes later, it rings again. They press snooze again. Slowly, their mind learns something dangerous. Their mind learns that comfort is more important than growth. But when someone decides to wake up at 4 a.m., something different happens inside their mind. The alarm rings. Their body says, "Stay in bed." Their mind says, "Get up." And when they stand up from that bed, they win their first battle of the day. It may look small, but it is actually very powerful. Because the person who can defeat comfort at 4 a.m. can defeat many other things in life. They can defeat laziness. They can defeat procrastination. They can defeat excuses. And this is why waking up early has always been connected with successful people. Not because waking up early magically gives success, but because waking up early builds the mindset that creates success. When you wake up at 4 a.m., you start to see something most people never notice. The early morning is peaceful. There is no noise, no pressure, no distractions. It feels like the world has paused for a moment. And in that peaceful moment, you get something very rare. You get time to think. You can think about your goals. You can think about your future. You can ask yourself important questions like, what kind of person do I want to become? What kind of life do I want to create? What do I need to improve today? Most people never ask these questions because their life is always busy and noisy. But the person who wakes up at 4 a.m. slowly begins to live a different kind of life. A life that is intentional. A life where every day has direction. A life where every morning feels like a fresh opportunity to become better. And that is why 4 a.m. is not just a time on the clock. For many people, it becomes the symbol of a new identity. The identity of someone who is serious about their life, someone who refuses to stay average, someone who is ready to grow. Lesson 2. You take control of your day. One of the biggest problems in modern life is that most people are always reacting. They wake up late. Immediately, they check their phone. Messages, notifications, emails, social media. Before they even get out of bed, their mind is already full of noise. From that moment, their entire day becomes a reaction to other people's demands. Someone sends a message. They react. Someone gives a task. They react. Someone creates a problem. They react. By the end of the day, they feel tired, stressed, and unfulfilled. Why? Because they never truly controlled their day. But when you wake up at 4 a.m., something changes. Those early hours belong completely to you. No one is calling you. No one is demanding anything from you. No one is distracting you. For the first time in the day, you are free. And that freedom is incredibly powerful. In those early hours, you can do the things that truly move your life forward. You can read books that expand your mind. You can exercise and strengthen your body. You can write down your goals. You can learn new skills. You can plan your entire day carefully. And when the world finally wakes up, you are already prepared. Instead of feeling rushed, you feel ready. Instead of feeling confused, you feel clear. Instead of feeling lazy, you feel powerful. This creates a completely different energy. When other people are starting their day slowly and struggling to wake up, you have already invested 2 or 3 hours in your personal growth. And imagine what happens if someone does this every single day. 2 extra hours every morning. That is 14 hours every week. That is more than 700 hours every year. 700 hours of learning, growing, thinking, and improving. That is not just extra time. That is a completely different life. And this is why waking up at 4 a.m. becomes such a powerful habit, because it turns ordinary mornings into extraordinary opportunities. It allows you to build a life that most people only dream about. And it all starts with one simple decision: the decision to get out of bed when the world is still sleeping. Lesson 3. You create time for self-improvement. One of the biggest reasons people stay stuck in life is not because they are stupid, not because they are unlucky, and not because they have no dreams. The real reason is that they never create real time for their own growth. They want to improve. They want to become better. They want to read more. They want to exercise. They want to learn new skills. They want to work on their dreams. But every day, the same thing happens. They wake up late. They rush into the day. They get busy with work, family, phone, responsibilities, and tiredness. Then night comes, and they say, "I will start tomorrow." And tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year. This is how many people lose years of their life. Not because they made one big mistake, but because they never gave themselves daily time to grow. This is where waking up at 4 a.m. becomes life-changing. Because 4 a.m. gives you something that most people keep waiting for but never truly create. It gives you protected time. It gives you time that belongs only to you. During the day, your time gets attacked from every side. People need something from you. Your phone pulls you. Your mind gets distracted. Unexpected problems appear. Your energy goes down. Your focus gets weaker. But at 4 a.m., all of that is still quiet. That early morning becomes a private meeting between you and your future. And what you do in that time slowly changes the direction of your life. You can read 10 pages every morning. That may not sound like a big thing at first, but read 10 pages a day for 1 year, and suddenly you have fed your mind with ideas, wisdom, lessons, and knowledge that most people never give themselves. You can exercise for 20 or 30 minutes every morning. Over time, your body becomes stronger, your mind becomes fresher, and your confidence becomes deeper. You can sit with a notebook and write down your thoughts. You can plan your day. You can think about your mistakes. You can ask yourself hard questions. You can work on a skill. You can practice speaking English. You can build a business idea. You can improve your health. You can improve your character. You can improve your future. This is why waking up at 4 a.m. is not just about waking up early. It is about finally giving yourself the time to become the person you keep saying you want to become. And that is powerful, because many people have dreams, but very few people create a daily system for those dreams. Dreams without time become frustration. Goals without action become sadness. Desire without discipline becomes regret. But when you wake up at 4 a.m., you stop living only in wishes. You begin to live in action. And that changes everything. Slowly, your mornings start to build your identity. You are no longer just someone who wants to improve. You become someone who actually improves. You are no longer just someone who says, "One day I will change." You become someone who wakes up and proves it. This is one of the most beautiful things about self-improvement in the early morning. It is quiet, it is personal, it is honest. No one may clap for you. No one may even know what you are doing. But deep inside, you know. You know that while other people are sleeping, you are investing in your mind. You are investing in your discipline. You are investing in your future. And that creates a deep kind of confidence. Not fake confidence, not loud confidence, but real confidence. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing you are keeping promises to yourself. And let us be honest, one of the most painful feelings in life is knowing what you need to do but not doing it. That feeling slowly damages the heart. Because every time you ignore your growth, a part of you becomes disappointed. A part of you starts losing trust in yourself. You say you will start reading, but you do not start. You say you will start exercising, but you do not start. You say you will start working on your dream, but you do not start. After some time, the problem is not only that your life is not improving. The bigger problem is that your relationship with yourself becomes weak. You stop believing your own words. But waking up at 4 a.m. begins to repair that relationship. Because every morning, when you rise and choose growth, you send yourself a new message. You say, "My future matters." You say, "My mind matters." You say, "My dream matters." You say, "I matter." That is why this habit can feel so emotional. It is not only a schedule change. It is self-respect in action. It is self-love in action. It is proof that you are finally serious about your own life. And over time, these small mornings create massive transformation. A person who reads daily becomes wiser. A person who exercises daily becomes stronger. A person who thinks daily becomes clearer. A person who practices daily becomes better. A person who shows up daily becomes different. This is how real change happens. Not in one dramatic day. Not in one motivational speech. Not in one exciting moment. Real change happens when you create time every day to become better. And 4 a.m. is powerful because it gives you the perfect place to do exactly that. So when you wake up at 4 a.m., do not think only, I am waking up early. Think something much deeper. Think, I am making room for my future. Because every morning you protect for self-improvement is a morning that pulls you closer to the life you want. And one day, when people look at your discipline, your focus, your growth, your peace, and your success, they will think it happened suddenly. But you will know the truth. It started in the dark. It started in silence. It started at 4 a.m. Lesson 4. You become mentally unstoppable. There is something powerful that happens when you start doing hard things on purpose. Your mind changes. Your identity changes. Your standards change. And waking up at 4 a.m. is one of those hard things that can completely transform your mind. Waking up at 4 a.m. is not easy. Your bed feels warm. Your room feels quiet. Your body wants more sleep. Your comfort whispers, stay here a little longer. Your excuses begin to speak. Start tomorrow. You need more rest. One day doesn't matter. You can do it later. And in that moment, you are standing in front of a battle that most people do not even realize is happening. It is the battle between comfort and power. Comfort says, choose what feels easy. Power says, choose what makes you stronger. Every time you wake up at 4 a.m., you are training your mind to listen to power instead of comfort. It becomes mental training. It becomes emotional training. It becomes character training. Because when you can get out of bed while everything inside you wants to stay there, you are teaching yourself one of the greatest lessons in life. You do not have to obey every feeling. This lesson can change a person forever. Because many people are controlled by feelings. If they feel motivated, they work. If they do not feel motivated, they stop. If they feel excited, they begin. If they feel tired, they quit. If they feel confident, they try. If they feel afraid, they hide. That is not strength. That is slavery to emotion. And one of the biggest reasons people never reach their potential is because they are always waiting to feel ready. Great people do not always feel ready. They move anyway. They act anyway. They rise anyway. And waking up at 4 a.m. teaches you this in a real and painful and powerful way. It teaches you that action is more important than mood. It teaches you that your feelings are not your master. It teaches you that discipline can be stronger than desire. This is how a person becomes mentally unstoppable. Not because life becomes easy, but because their mind becomes stronger than excuses. Think about what happens when you keep waking up at 4 a.m. again and again. On day 1, it feels hard. On day 2, it still feels hard. On day 5, you still feel resistance. But slowly, something begins to happen. Your mind starts understanding that you are serious. It starts understanding that when you say, get up, you mean it. And once your mind learns that you do not play games with your own promises, your entire life starts changing. Because the same mind that can wake up at 4 a.m. can also do other hard things. It can stay focused when distraction appears. It can keep going when motivation disappears. It can stay calm under pressure. It can keep working when results are slow. It can say no to weakness. It can say yes to discipline. This is why the real gift of 4 a.m. is not only extra time. The real gift is a stronger mind. And a strong mind is one of the most valuable things a person can build. Because life will test you. There will be days when you feel tired. There will be days when people disappoint you. There will be days when you feel behind. There will be days when your goals look far away. There will be days when quitting feels easier than continuing. On those days, talent will not save you. Motivation will not save you. Mood will not save you. Your mind will save you. Your discipline will save you. Your standards will save you. And that is why waking up at 4 a.m. is more than a morning habit. It is a way of building inner power before the problems of life arrive. You become someone who can say, I know it is hard, but I will still do it. That sentence alone can change a life, because the difference between ordinary people and extraordinary people is often not intelligence. It is not luck. It is not background. It is not talent. Very often, the real difference is this. One person stops when it feels hard. The other keeps going. Waking up at 4 a.m. places you in that second category. It puts you among the people who train themselves to keep going. And that changes the way you see yourself. You stop seeing yourself as weak. You stop seeing yourself as lazy. You stop seeing yourself as someone who always delays. You start seeing yourself as a warrior, as someone who can lead themselves, as someone who can do difficult things, as someone who can build a different life. And that self-image matters so much, because you will always act in a way that matches who you believe you are. If you believe you are weak, you will keep choosing weakness. If you believe you are powerless, you will keep surrendering. But if you begin to believe, I am disciplined, I am strong, I do hard things, then your actions begin to rise to that level. And waking up at 4 a.m. helps build that belief every single morning. You prove your strength before sunrise. You prove your seriousness before sunrise. You prove your hunger for a better life before sunrise. That is why this habit feels so powerful. It does not just change your clock, it changes your identity. And once identity changes, life begins to change. So when people hear about 4 a.m., many of them think only about time. But the deeper truth is not about time. The deeper truth is about transformation. Because every morning at 4 a.m., you are not only waking up from sleep. You are waking up from weakness. You are waking up from excuses. You are waking up from the old version of yourself. And little by little, morning by morning, choice by choice, you become mentally unstoppable. Not because you never feel pain, not because you never feel tired, not because you never feel resistance, but because you stop letting those things control your life. That is real power. That is real growth. That is real freedom. Lesson 5. You build discipline and mental strength. One of the greatest problems in modern life is that many people want a better life, but they do not have the inner strength to build it. They want success. They want peace. They want confidence. They want money. They want respect. They want change. But wanting is not enough, because life does not change only because you desire something. Life changes when your discipline becomes stronger than your excuses. And that is why waking up at 4 a.m. is such a powerful habit. Because every morning, it gives you a chance to train the two things that can completely transform your life: discipline and mental strength. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you do not feel like doing it. Mental strength is staying firm, even when your mind, body, and emotions try to pull you in the opposite direction. Now think about waking up at 4 a.m. Nobody is there to force you. Nobody is standing next to your bed. Nobody is clapping for you. Nobody is giving you an award the moment you wake up. It is just you, your alarm, your comfort, and your decision. That is what makes it powerful, because it becomes one of the purest forms of self-discipline. At that moment, you have two choices. You can stay where it is warm, soft, and easy. Or you can rise into what is difficult, uncomfortable, and powerful. And every time you choose to rise, something happens inside you. You become a little harder to break, a little stronger, a little more serious, a little more in control of yourself. This is how discipline is built. Not in theory, not in words, not in motivational quotes. Discipline is built in moments when you have the chance to choose comfort, but you choose growth instead. That is why 4 a.m. matters so much, because it gives you this moment again and again and again. Every single morning becomes a training ground, and this training does not stay only in the morning. That is the beautiful part. When you become disciplined in one area, that discipline starts entering other parts of your life too. The person who can get out of bed at 4 a.m. becomes more able to sit and study when the mind wants distraction, exercise when the body wants laziness, save money when the heart wants useless pleasure, stay calm when life becomes stressful, keep working when results are slow, stay loyal to long-term goals when short-term comfort calls. This is how a habit becomes a lifestyle. This is how a morning decision becomes a powerful identity. And that identity is dangerous in the best way. Because once you become the kind of person who can control yourself, life becomes very different. Many people are not defeated by the outside world. They are defeated by their own lack of control. They cannot control their sleep. They cannot control their phone use. They cannot control their eating. They cannot control their thoughts. They cannot control their emotions. They cannot control their habits. And when a person cannot control themselves, life feels heavy and confusing. They want progress, but they live in patterns that destroy progress. They want peace, but they are controlled by chaos. They want greatness, but they obey weakness. That is painful. And the truth is, without discipline, even talent becomes useless. A smart person without discipline stays behind. A gifted person without discipline wastes potential. A dreamer without discipline lives in imagination. But an ordinary person with strong discipline can build an extraordinary life. A strong life requires a strong mind. Dreams require strength. Success requires strength. Growth requires strength. Healing requires strength. Change requires strength. Nothing meaningful is built by a weak and undisciplined mind. That is why habits like waking up at 4 a.m. matter so much. They are not random habits. They are character-building habits. They shape the kind of human being you are becoming. Morning after morning, you build a private strength that the world may not see immediately. But one day it becomes visible. It becomes visible in your focus. It becomes visible in your calmness. It becomes visible in your body language. It becomes visible in your consistency. It becomes visible in your results. People will look at you and think, this person is different. And yes, you will be different. Because while many people trained their comfort, you trained your discipline. While many people trained their excuses, you trained your strength. While many people kept waiting for the perfect moment, you kept rising before sunrise. And that changes a person forever. So when you wake up at 4 a.m., do not think of it as punishment. Do not think of it as suffering. Think of it as training. You are training your will. You are training your focus. You are training your self-respect. You are training your character. You are becoming the kind of person who can carry bigger dreams without collapsing under pressure. And in a world where so many people are mentally weak, distracted, and undisciplined, that kind of strength becomes a superpower. That is why 4 a.m. can be life-changing. Because it does not just make you early, it makes you stronger. And a strong person can build a strong life. Lesson 6. You enjoy peace and silence. There is something beautiful about the world before sunrise. Something pure, something healing, something powerful. At 4 a.m., the world feels different. The noise is gone, the pressure is gone. The endless movement of daily life has not started yet. It is quiet. And in that quiet, many people experience something they have not felt in a very long time. Peace. Today, many people are tired not only because they work hard. They are tired because their life is full of noise. Noise from the phone. Noise from social media. Noise from people's opinions. Noise from problems. Noise from fear. Noise from rushing. Noise from a mind that never gets a moment to breathe. All day long, the mind is under attack. Someone wants attention. Something needs to be done. Some message appears. Some pressure arrives. Some distraction enters. And after living like this every day, many people forget what inner silence even feels like. That is why waking up at 4 a.m. can feel almost spiritual. Because before the world begins demanding things from you, you get a rare gift. You get silence. Real silence. And silence is not emptiness. Silence is medicine. Silence gives the mind a chance to settle. Silence gives the heart a chance to breathe. Silence gives the soul a chance to return to itself. This is one of the deepest powers of the early morning. At 4 a.m., you are not immediately thrown into noise. You are first welcomed by stillness. And stillness has a strange power. It helps you hear your own thoughts more clearly. During the busy day, it is very hard to understand yourself. There is too much movement, too much pressure, too much speed. But in the quiet early morning, your thoughts become easier to hear. You begin to notice what you truly feel. You begin to notice what really matters. You begin to notice what is wrong in your life and what needs to change. You begin to notice what your heart has been trying to tell you. This is why silence is so valuable. Because noise keeps people distracted, but silence helps people become honest. And honesty can change a life. In silence, you can ask yourself important questions. Am I living the way I truly want to live? Am I becoming the person I want to become? What am I avoiding? What do I need to fix? What kind of future am I creating? These questions are powerful. But most people never sit with them, not because they are bad people, but because their life is so noisy that they never stop long enough to reflect. Waking up at 4 a.m. creates space for reflection. And reflection is a big part of transformation. Because if you never stop and look at your life, you will keep repeating the same patterns. You will keep running in the same circles. You will keep being busy without becoming better. But silence allows you to step back. It allows you to observe your life instead of only reacting to it. And from that observation, wisdom starts to grow. Another beautiful thing about the peace of 4 a.m. is this. It helps you begin the day with a different emotional energy. Think about how many people start their morning. They wake up late. They rush. They panic. They check the phone. They feel behind. They begin the day stressed. And when stress becomes the first emotion of the morning, that stress often follows them through the whole day. But 4 a.m. gives you a different beginning. A softer beginning. A softer beginning. A wiser beginning. A stronger beginning. Instead of panic, you begin with peace. Instead of pressure, you begin with stillness. Instead of confusion, you begin with clarity. And that changes the whole emotional direction of the day. When a person starts the day in peace, they think better, they respond better, they speak better, they handle problems better, their energy feels different, their presence feels different. Because peace is not weakness, peace is power under control. And the early morning teaches that. It teaches you how beautiful life can feel when noise is removed. It reminds you that you do not have to live every day in constant mental pollution. You can choose a better atmosphere for your mind. You can protect your inner world. You can create a peaceful beginning that makes the entire day stronger. There is also another truth here. Many people are addicted to stimulation. They always need something playing, something moving, something distracting them. Music, videos, scrolling, talking, noise, updates, drama. Silence feels uncomfortable to them. Why? Because silence reveals things. Silence reveals inner emptiness. Silence reveals fear. Silence reveals unresolved thoughts. Silence reveals things people were trying to escape. But if a person learns to sit in silence, to breathe in silence, to think in silence, they become emotionally stronger. They stop running from themselves. They become more grounded, more clear, more mature. Waking up at 4 a.m. can help you build that strength. It teaches you to be with yourself without fear, to exist without distraction, to think without noise, to feel peace without needing the world to entertain you. That is powerful. That is rare. And that is life-changing. Lesson 7. You become consistent and focused. Many people do not fail because they are weak. Many people do not fail because they are not talented. Many people do not fail because they have no dreams. They fail because they cannot stay consistent. They start, then stop. They feel excited, then disappear. They make plans, then forget them. They set goals, then lose focus. They promise themselves change, then return to old habits. This cycle destroys millions of lives, because life is not changed by what you do once. Life is changed by what you do again and again and again. That is why consistency is one of the most powerful forces in the world. A person who stays consistent can become dangerous in the best possible way. They may not look extraordinary on day one. They may not impress people in 1 week. They may not have fast success. But over time, consistency gives them what inconsistency can never give. Real growth, real strength, real progress, and real results. And waking up at 4 a.m. helps build that kind of person. Why? Because 4 a.m. is not a one-time act of motivation. It is a repeated act of discipline. It asks the same question every morning. Will you show up again? That question matters, because anybody can feel inspired for one day. Anybody can wake up early once. Anybody can make a big promise at night. But real transformation begins when a person starts showing up regularly, even after the excitement disappears. And that is what 4 a.m. teaches. It teaches repeatable seriousness. It teaches stable discipline. It teaches the quiet power of showing up without drama. And that is one of the most life-changing lessons a person can learn. Because the world often celebrates big moments, but life is mostly shaped by repeated habits. A person becomes fit by repeating healthy choices. A person becomes wise by repeating learning. A person becomes fluent by repeating practice. A person becomes strong by repeating effort. A person becomes successful by repeating focused action. Everything meaningful in life grows through consistency. But consistency is hard in a distracted world. Today, people are pulled in every direction. One day they are excited about one goal. The next day they are excited about something else. One day they are disciplined. The next day they are lost in scrolling. One day they feel strong. The next day they disappear into comfort. Their attention keeps moving. Their habits keep changing. Their focus keeps breaking. That is why they struggle to build something real. Because focus is the ability to stay with what matters. And 4 a.m. strengthens that ability. At 4 a.m., life is simpler. There are fewer voices, fewer interruptions, fewer temptations, fewer distractions. That quiet environment helps your mind practice staying with one thing. And that is a big gift. Because a focused mind is rare now. Most people are mentally scattered. Their body is in one place, but their mind is in 10 places. They try to work, but they also check the phone. They try to study, but they also think about notifications. They try to build a future, but they keep feeding distraction. This weakens the mind, and a weak mind struggles to stay consistent. But early morning focus helps rebuild inner order. When you wake up at 4 a.m. and sit with your goal, your plan, your work, or your practice, you are doing more than a task. You are teaching your mind to stay, to remain, to continue, to stop escaping. That matters more than people think. Because one of the biggest problems in life is not that people do not know what to do. Often they know. The problem is that they do not stay with it long enough. They change direction too quickly. They quit too early. They lose patience. They get distracted. They break the chain before the result appears. But consistency requires staying power. And 4 a.m. helps build that staying power. It becomes a daily appointment with your future. Every morning you meet your goals again. Every morning you touch your vision again. Every morning you strengthen the chain again. And when that chain becomes long enough, something powerful begins to happen. Results start appearing. At first, the changes are small. Maybe your mind becomes a little calmer. Maybe your day becomes a little cleaner. Maybe your productivity becomes a little stronger. Maybe your discipline becomes a little more stable. These may look small, but small repeated changes become massive transformation. That is the power of consistency. Consistency is beautiful because it does not always look dramatic in the beginning. It often looks boring, quiet, simple, ordinary. Wake up, show up, do the work, repeat. Many people do not respect this process because it looks too simple. They want fast results, big excitement, instant change. But life does not usually work that way. The strongest people are often built in boring repetition. The wisest people are often built in quiet repetition. The most successful people are often built in invisible repetition. 4 a.m. teaches you to respect repetition. And that changes everything. Because when you stop chasing only excitement and begin valuing consistency, you finally become dangerous to your old life. You no longer need to feel amazing every day. You no longer need perfect motivation. You no longer need emotional fireworks. You only need to keep showing up. That mindset can save a life. It can save a dream. It can save years. Because many people waste their future while waiting to feel ready. But consistency says something different. It says, show up anyway. That one sentence can build a new identity. Also, there is another deep gift in waking up at 4 a.m. It helps you become focused not only in action, but in direction. When you wake up early regularly, you get more time to think about what really matters. You begin to see your life more clearly. You begin to understand what deserves your energy and what does not. You begin to notice which habits help you and which habits hurt you. You begin to cut unnecessary noise. And slowly, your life becomes more focused. Before we end, remember this simple truth. Waking up at 4 a.m. will not change your life in one day, but if you do it every day, it can completely transform your future. While the world is sleeping, you are growing, improving, and building a stronger version of yourself. So tomorrow morning, when the alarm rings, remember your goals and choose growth over comfort. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful videos like this.